lead generation for financial services podcast and owner of the Lead Engine. And Alex has got his second conference coming up actually soon in Peterborough. Said, I used to have the LinkedIn fear and I saw more trolling on here than any other platform. Now, I don't get trolled on LinkedIn, and please don't start if you're listening to me now. But he says, I don't really see it anymore. I think I went on a massive unfollow cull. So one of the things that came up in my workshops was building a network on LinkedIn of people. And if you've been on the platform for 7 or 8 years, there's lots of people in your network who you connected with 7 or 8 years ago who you don't really have anything in common with anymore. They may not live in the same area as you. They may not work in the same area as you, or have no possibility of becoming a client or collaborator with you. And you've basically got nothing in common with them anymore. Feel free to remove the connection or just to unfollow them. And I think that's what Alex has done. He's really just cleaned up his network and therefore finds it a more enjoyable place. And I said, Alex, that's exactly why I teach people to build a genuine network full of people that you actually want to connect with on LinkedIn. Makes you want to spend more time on here. Alison Matthews commented, she is a virtual assistant. She said, I really struggled at the start what to post because LinkedIn has a totally different tone of voice to Facebook, for example. But as you advise, Louise, it's always about posting content which is valuable to others. Bingo. Alison and I have worked together on and off for a couple of years, and I'm really delighted, Alison, that you've taken my teaching on board. Makes me happy. But yes, LinkedIn, it's people worry about thinking you have to be, super professional on here. Well, spend 5 minutes on LinkedIn looking at posts and you'll find that actually we have as much, depends who's in your network. There's more conversations. It's not what used to be like a stuffy platform, but it is a different tone to Facebook. And it's just getting to understand what kind of content and what kind of posts work on the different social media platforms that help you to really make your mark and get your presence on the platforms. Eva Green, who is Belfast-based, marketing at Kaizen Brand Evolution, said that she thinks because you are putting out your own views, you'll always maybe be open to some opposing view or thought, and that's the scary part. Yes, it is, Eva, but I think sometimes too you need to plant your flag in the sand and say, well, this is what I believe. I mean, I've certainly done that about LinkedIn. I've said to lots of people, build a genuine network. Don't just accept anybody and everybody into your network. I keep it professional on LinkedIn. I did see somebody posting, this is just a like and share post on LinkedIn to get more people to follow their company page. And please don't do that. And please let those people stop doing that, because this is not Facebook and I don't want it to turn into Facebook. Although there are rumours of LinkedIn stories coming along. I know that Twitter has announced something today. Is it called Fleet or something? Which is going to look like stories. Interesting. Instagram stories, yes, have worked brilliantly. I think Facebook stories are still struggling to catch up. So it's interesting that LinkedIn and possibly Twitter are considering, well, Twitter is launching it, according to the news today. But LinkedIn's considering as well. I don't know. Let's watch this space. All right. So Gary Gleason then says, all of us have some kind of knowledge in our line of work that others would find useful. If you start thinking along those lines, you should always be able to come up with some suitable LinkedIn posts. Yeah. I think that sharing information that helps your network is really the best place to start, Gary. Starting conversations around topics in your business as well is another great place to start. It's not controversial. I know that, who was it said about controversy? Yeah, Eva talked about controversy. It's not controversial if you are literally telling people something that helps them in their business. So maybe just start there. And then Elizabeth Cook, who is helping small businesses create content that converts and is also a fabulous accountability coach, says she's new on LinkedIn and her fear is that she will not follow the correct LinkedIn etiquette simply because she doesn't really know what it is. Sort of makes it's sort of like visiting a new country without knowing the culture. Like, I'll make eye contact when that's considered rude, or whatever the comparable thing would be on LinkedIn. So I actually have an article called LinkedIn Etiquette, How to Behave on LinkedIn. I'll put that in the show notes, or you can just go over to socialbni.com and do a little search for it. Yes, Elizabeth, I know what you're saying. Just think about, put out content that helps people, stay professional, and when you reach out to connect with somebody, send them a personalised message to explain why you're connecting with them, and you'll not go too far wrong. And if all that still leaves you with a little bit of fear, start by commenting on other people's posts the way you did on this one. Okay, Tracy Baxley, who was on the last week's podcast, says, I think it's really being vulnerable in some ways, and there's always a bit of fear in that. So yes, there can be. I suppose it really depends what you are using the platforms for. I know that Brené Brown talks about her career seems to. Brené Brown is a thought leader, speaker from America. If you haven't heard of her, she's got a Netflix program. I know of her. I've seen inspirational quotes from her on Instagram. That's really as far as my knowledge goes. But I think one of the things she talked about was being vulnerable, and how when you open up to people, that can really open up your network and the opportunities to you. I am not sure about that on LinkedIn, to be honest, but that's just my personality. I err on the side of caution. You won't see me talking about things in my personal life really on LinkedIn. No, well, actually, you won't see me talking about that much anywhere in my business. Potentially only ever on the podcast. And everybody's different, you know. My network is different to Tracy's network on LinkedIn, and it's what works for you and resonates for you. And at the end of the day, if you're on LinkedIn to build a network around you of supportive, collaborative people, or if you're on there because you want to grow your business and influence more companies and get more clients, it all comes down to strategy. What is your strategy? Why are you on this platform? Why are you connecting with people? Why are you writing posts? If you don't know the answers to any of those questions, then probably go away and think about them properly. Your audience might not be on LinkedIn. It might be elsewhere. Where do you want to spend time? Where are you going to grow your business? All right, so those were great comments from all my lovely LinkedIn network. And hopefully that has helped a little bit. But at the end of the day, I think one of the things I say to people is be like a horse and put blinkers on, and don't think about too much about what other people think about you. Focus on your own journey and your own road, and build your thought leadership that way, and think, am I serving my clients? Am I on here because this is what I want to talk about? Is it building my business? And if you need help and support with just even getting yourself started, or I offer one-to-one strategy sessions for people who want to really, you might be saying, well, Louise, this is all very well and good, but I still don't know what to post on LinkedIn. Get in touch and we'll have a strategy session together. And we can look at what your business is, who your clients are, who's your target market, what could you be sharing on LinkedIn that would bring those people to you, to connect with you, to want to work with you. I'd be delighted to help you with that. And if you enjoy the podcast, then I'd love you to leave me a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. It helps lots more people to hear the podcast, and I always appreciate it. And until next week, I will speak to you then. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of the Social Bee podcast. Come
come and join us over at www.socialbni.com and let's start creating a buzz about your business. And if you like what you hear, please pop over to iTunes and leave me a review. I'd really appreciate it. See you next time.